What is up, you guys? Today, I just got back from seeing the newest Disney live-action remake, Snow White. Can't tell. We're here at Disney Nerd for Life. You know we gotta show up in our most drippiest Snow White t-shirt. Got all the souvenirs I got over the years. Had these since I was a child. So, Snow White's been a big, movie in my household. That's my mom's favorite Disney movie. So I obviously had to grow up with Snow White. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a massive fan of Snow White. I think it's a great Disney movie. I give it like an 8 out of 10. I actually very much enjoy that movie. Love Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Disney World. But seeing this movie, if you guys don't know, I had a lot of issues going into it. I was one of those people that didn't really think Rachel Zegler was the right choice for Snow White. I thought the way they were doing the dwarfs was weird. Everything with the bandits, everything. I want to get into my review because I have a lot to say on this movie. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before that though, I got the latest popcorn bucket from Cinemark. It's the mirror that turns into the queen. We got Gal Gadot as the evil queen on the back there. My mom actually got this. She really likes, again, she loves Snow White. Evil Queen's her favorite Disney villain, so she wanted this, and I actually was going to get it before, but I didn't really love it, but pretty cool. We got that, and then I also got these 2 souvenir drinks. As you guys know, I'm a big cup guy. Got this, my mom got this one. It's a nice tumbler with Snow White there. Pretty cool. And this is one I got. It's the apple. Really like the apple design. It says Snow White on the side. Thought that was really cool. At Cinemark. Really liked it. So now that we got the merchandise out of the way, I want to talk about this movie. We're also going to keep this spoiler free for right now. I will get into my spoiler section, but as of right now, spoiler free thoughts. Going into this movie, if you guys didn't know, I always talked about it. I made even a video about it a long time ago talking about I don't think Snow White was going to be the biggest movie. I thought this was going to be really bad. Went into this movie and still thought it was going to be really bad. Just seeing the dwarves, how they made them CGI'd. Then there was talks where there was no dwarves. It was going to be just bandits, these 7 bandits in Snow White. Then there was like a lot of PR things where there was things saying that she didn't really like the Snow White movie. She thought it was really scary. There wasn't going to be a prince in this movie. All of that stuff just combined really left like a sour taste in my mouth, and I bet a lot of people's mouths, that this movie was going to be bad. So I went into this movie, got my Snow White shirt on, and I was like, alright, well, we'll watch it, gotta watch it, Disney Nerd for Life, give my opinion. It's good. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. It's genuinely very good, and I know a lot of you guys aren't gonna really most people don't agree. Letterboxd is clearly on the down of this movie. Rotten Tomatoes. I just can't see why. I know there's a few things going bad with it, and I guess I'll talk about my negatives first because there's not a lot that I have to say negatively about this film. I was trying to just see what's bad about it. And I know that's weird to say, but going into this movie again, I thought it was gonna be really bad, but I found it really good. So going into my bad about this movie, I guess first, obviously centers around Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot as the evil queen. I saw the trailers, even with it looks really bad. The trailer for her, I was like, I don't know, looks iffy, and it was. So at first, Gal Gadot's performance, it didn't really bother me, but then she started singing, and she had 2 songs in this movie. They were bad. They reminded me of Amelia Perez level bad, like El Mel, if you guys remember that song. Reminded me of that, but that's really it for her. I don't think it's as terrible as what other people are saying. I just still think it's passable. I thought it's on the same level as Melissa McCarthy. It's Ursula. I feel like it's on the same level. I just think that a lot of people see Rachel Zegler's performance as Snow White because it's really good. With this, it's kind of just mediocre, so it kind of makes it look even worse. Where The Little Mermaid, they were both on the same level, of being just good but not amazing in any way. That I think that's what this kind of provides. It's just okay performance as the evil queen. Now I went into it really thinking it was going to be really bad, but I didn't think it was too bad. So that's really all my negatives, and I think the two songs are terrible. But that's really all my negatives when it comes to the movie. Everything else I think is really positive. So let's get into it. Starting off, I think this movie has a lot of changes from the original. And obviously, the original came out in 1937. Again, long time ago. That original movie, it is creepy. I'm gonna be honest. It's a man who randomly stumbles upon this random girl who doesn't really have a lot of like women empowerment or anything. Like just this kind of just normal girl that does her thing, tries to get killed, apparently escapes death, takes a bite of an apple, and that same man that she didn't really know at all comes over and kisses her when he thinks she's dead. So it's kind of weird. And then all of a sudden they get lifted off. There's really no plot synopsis, no romance in there, but that's really it. So that's what the original movie is. I understand why they want to change that, and I honestly think it's for the better. So the subtle changes within this movie, the prince obviously isn't in there, and we heard that from Rachel Zegler herself, and I thought that was a bad decision. And watching it, I think it was actually really good. So there's obviously these 7 bandits. They still are within the film. We saw that picture, then everyone hated on it, including me. They added the dwarfs. Now, the dwarfs, I really like how there is a lot of controversy with the dwarfs. Basically saying, like, do we have little people play them, or do we have them CGI? Now, there was a bunch of different people coming out. Like Peter Dinklage said that that's disgraceful against little people, and then even the guy from Jackass, he was saying that that's actually every little person's in Hollywood's dream to play that.
It's a bad thing. One, because what they're doing is pretty much you're replacing jobs that people could have as little people. Okay. Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, it's for dwarfs.
So very controversial, and I was on the side where I thought I was a little iffy, but going into seeing this, I thought they played it off really well. So like the dwarfs are magical beings, and we actually heard that article too, saying that they were going to be magical beings, and I didn't really know how to feel about that, but they're very good within this. Their whole sequence with the Hi-Ho song, very good. I think how they tie the bandits and the dwarfs within this movie with Snow White is phenomenal. I thought it's great. The dwarfs all have this magical power to kind of like see the stones when they're mining. Very fun. And I actually think the visuals within this movie are one of the best visuals of any live-action Disney movie. I think the CGI, the production design looks fantastic, and that's all because of Mark Webb. I think Mark Webb's great. He's the guy that made 500 Days of Summer and the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which I think are the best Spider-Man movies when it comes to its visuals and stylistic choices. The color design of this movie, fantastic. Like, look at this poster. I know you can't really see it because of the light, but the color design within this trailer, within the movie, so great. Like when they're in the forest, fantastic. When Snow White's running in the scary forest, when she's scared, terrifying. And then like all the animals come out. And these animals within this movie look way better than all the animals in Lion King and Mufasa. I think they actually look lively. Now, I won't go as far as saying they're better than the animals in Jungle Book. Jungle Book, in my opinion, is still the best live-action remake we've ever gotten. But I still think that this is really good when it comes to its visuals with the dwarfs even. They really get to grow on you. And like Dopey especially. Dopey was always my favorite dwarf, and I think they did Dopey the best in this movie. And they gave every kind of dwarf like its own personality and like its own moment to shine. Now they didn't really do that with the bandits because the bandits were new. But I really liked how they kind of combined the bandits and the dwarfs throughout the film. Like, so like there's a section of the movie where it's designated to the dwarfs, section where it's designated to the bandits, and then they come together. I thought that was really cool, and I like that change because then, of course, I won't get into any spoilers here just yet, but stuff happens within the bandits and Snow White that I really ended up liking, which we'll talk about later. Now, Gal Gadot, again, I don't really care. I think the opening of this film was really fun. It shows the story of like how Snow White ended up in this situation with Gal Gadot, the Evil Queen, and how the Evil Queen kind of got to rule this kingdom. Thought that was really cool. But then whenever Gal Gadot came on screen, I couldn't help but rolling my eyes. I'm going to be honest with you. just got really annoyed of her character interacting with Snow White. But then most of the movie, it's Snow White outside in the forest with the bandits, with the dwarfs, and I actually very much enjoyed this. And another thing that I really thought was good about this movie was the runtime. It didn't run over its limit. Like, I felt like Little Mermaid was a little too long, clocking in over 2 hours. This movie is just shy of 2 hours, and I think that's perfect because the original Snow White is very short. And there's no need to really extend that period of time except to add your little fillers like the bandits. And another great thing that I liked about this movie is every change felt meaningful for the story. So when they changed the story for like Mulan, or they changed the story for Aladdin, when they gave Jasmine her kind of like female empowerment move in that movie, it didn't really have any essence to the Aladdin storyline. This movie, everything's different. So Snow White is very more woman empowerment, very more I'm going to rule this kingdom for my people and not just for myself like the evil queen's doing. And they don't really do that in the original Snow White. And they really do that in this movie, and it adds to the plot. The bandits add to the plot that make it really, really good. That those changes that help the movie's plot for the better, very good. When you have a change that ruins the plot, like Mulan, where there was no music, no Mushu, it makes it worse, I feel like, if that makes sense. You're ruining the story, where this has the same story of Snow White, beat for beat. There's still the same classic movements where she eats the apple, you get the hi-ho sequence, the whistle while you work sequence, all that, but you get more, and it provides the story in depth, and it gives more to the lore, that it makes it its own thing, but also has that essence of the original Snow White that I very much appreciated. I won't go as far as saying this is better than the live-action Beauty and the Beast or the live-action Jungle Book, but I will say I think this is better than the live-action Lion King, live-action Aladdin, in my opinion. I think it has the essence to be one of the better live action remakes. And I'm gonna do a whole video of the live action remakes once Lilo and Stitch comes out in May, of like my top 20 favorites. But this is turning out to be really good. Another thing I loved about this movie is the soundtrack per se. Some of the songs, I liked how some of the songs were new and some of the old songs were in this movie. Some songs aren't in this movie, like from the original movie, which we'll talk about in our spoiler review, but I really liked all the songs that were new, especially Princess Problems. I thought that was really fun. Probably the best song that I've heard in this movie. This is all excluding Gal Gadot's songs, though, the Evil Queen songs. Those were terrible, but the other songs, very good. Getting into my spoiler review, I'm going to keep it short. I really ended up, so I'm going to go kind of all over the place for this. One of my favorite things that they did within this movie is the bandits. I think that getting rid of the prince was actually a very good thing that they did, and adding this Jonathan character within the bandits, and having Jonathan be one of, like, kind of the prince-esque type of person. So he's coming into the castle, he comes into the kingdom, of course, and he is that prince figure where he's stealing. But instead of just creeping up on Snow White, he's doing his own thing. Snow White's going up to him, going like, hey, what are you doing in my kingdom? And he's like, I'm getting food for my people. Really like that interaction way more than a man kind of going up to a woman at the wishing well and saying, hey, what's up, shawty? Like, a little bit better, if that makes sense. Then we see them develop within the forest, and then they have princess problems. Really good. Really love that song, like I said in my spoiler-free review. Love that. That's when they also have a silly song, and I really like that. So, another thing, how they said that, Rachel Zegler said the prince isn't going to save her this time. There's no going to be that. Well, I don't know how to feel about that. He does twice, actually, in this movie. He does it twice. So, I really liked how he kind of swiveled over and caught the arrow for her in order to save her. Now, she did save him because he was locked up when he stole all the bread, and she saved him. He was let go. And then he kind of returned the favor by taking the arrow for her. That's when the dwarfs and her meet. And she goes to Doc, goes like, hey, can you help him? And that's when the bandits and the dwarfs meet. I thought that was perfect. I thought how they did that, combined them, was great. Now, obviously, this movie doesn't have Someday My Prince Will Come, which I know is a beloved song, but I thought it wasn't really needed. I know it was a beloved song in that movie, but I thought what they did was a lot better. And then you got some of the bandits, which weren't really expanded on as much as the dwarfs, but I thought they were just good enough. And then, obviously, the whole romance between Jonathan and the Snow White. And I just love that, how basically that's when she kind of bites the apple later on, and we get to see Jonathan come to her, and he's the one that kisses her instead of a prince, and that's the true love. I thought that was fantastic. I thought the way they handled it was great. So she saves him, he saves her. It's equal. I thought that's great. I thought what they did was great. I just think that Rachel Zegler's words were a little different than how the movie came out, but also at that time we didn't have any trailer, we didn't really have any plot synopsis, we were only going off of what the interviews were. So I think a lot of people have that sour taste in their mouth, but if they give this movie a chance, it will be good. So overall, I ended up really enjoying this movie, and I think that you guys just need to give it a chance. Everyone that was like me, that's a big Snow White fan or big Disney fan or just big movie fans that had that sour taste in their mouth, needs to give it a chance, needs to go see it, because it's very well done. It's very good. I don't know. Here's my overall thoughts on the film. I'm going to give this movie a 78 out of 100. It is currently my second favorite film of the year. I know. It's very high, 2 out of 15. I think it's better than Novocaine, which that video did terrible, so please go like it, because it only has 15 views, and I don't know why. Please go like it. I'm begging you. Actually, I thought this movie was very fun. Really well done. And good job, Disney, because I thought you guys were going to actually bomb this. And again, just makes me realize how much I love Disney and why I'm Disney nerd for life. I know a lot of you guys are going to say this is biased, but go form your own opinion. Go check it out. Go watch this movie before you say it's bad. Because that's another thing that I hate, is when people say a movie's bad and they don't go watch it. So watch it for yourself. See if it's good. If you don't like it after watching it, you could say that you actually don't like it, but you can't say you don't like it if you never give it a chance. So I gave it that chance. I ended up very much liking it. So go watch the film. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you like it. If you really like it, make sure you subscribe. If you want to see future videos like this, make sure you ring that bell in the description below. With all that being said, hi ho, it's off to work we go. Disney, you're out. Peace!